Hi everyone, I'm Z from Susan's family. Today I'd like to introduce you to the Show So Fu series, The Morning Dew Shawl. For this electronic tutorial, you can check the electronic chart by searching for susud.com on the website. The shawl includes the section 1, the section 2 and the section 3. We will knit these 3 sections in order. The section 1 uses the long tail cast-on method to start. For convenience in explanation, it is divided into 7 segments horizontally, from right to left. They are right segment 1, right segment 2, right segment 3, middle segment, left segment 3, left segment 2 and left segment 1. They involve more stitch techniques, all of which are marked on the chart, so I won't list them one by one. Please watch me demonstrate below. Start to cast on. Take the corresponding yarn. Here, I'll use thick cotton yarn for the demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn, the color schemes and needle size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. At the beginning, leave about 50 centimeters of yarn. Make a slip knot. Place it on the needle. Hold the needle with your right hand. Slightly tighten the small loop. This is the first stitch. Hold the 2 strands of yarn with your left hand. The strand joined to the yarn ball should be placed on your index finger. Place the reserved long tail on your thumb. Straighten the yarn. Insert the needle upwards through the loop on your thumb. Pick up the yarn from your index finger from behind to front. Draw the yarn through the loop on your thumb. Release the yarn from your thumb. Slightly tighten it. This is the second stitch. Continue with the third stitch. Lift the yarn from your index finger over the loop on your thumb. Pull tight. The third stitch is now complete. Next, everyone repeat this process and continue casting on. Cast on a total of 15 stitches. Now, the casting on is done. Start with the first row of the section 1. For the first row, follow the chart from left to right. Work in a method of knitting for the purl stitches and purling for the knit stitches. The chart shows all knit stitch keys, therefore, work all stitches as purl. This way, the first row is finished. Continue with the second row. Before you start, place a marker between each of the 7 segments. That means 3 stitches on each side. Separate them respectively. There should be exactly 9 stitches in the middle. After marking properly, start knitting. For this row, read the chart from right to left. Work the stitches identical to the chart. The first stitch is the segment for KFB. First, insert the needle into the front loop. Work a knit stitch. Pay attention, don't drop this loop. Continue by inserting into the back loop. Knit stitch through the back loop. Drop the loop. The KFB stitch is now complete. This adds 1 stitch. Move the stitch marker. Next, work 1 yarn over. A blank square also represents a knit stitch. 1 knit stitch. Move the stitch marker. 1 yarn over. 1 knit stitch. Move the stitch marker. 1 yarn over. 9 knit stitches. One yarn over. Move the stitch marker. 1 knit stitch. One yarn over. Move the stitch marker. 1 knit stitch. 1 yarn over. Move the stitch marker. Here, knit 1 KFB stitch at the end. That is, insert the needle into the loop from the front first, then work a knit stitch. And finally insert the needle into the loop from the back to knit. The KFB stitch is now done. That's it for the second row. We will consider the side facing us now as the right side. Meaning, when viewed from the right side, this area here has a braid-like texture. The starting tail of the yarn is located at the bottom left corner. Let's continue with the third row. We will work this row on the wrong side. Work all stitches as purl stitches. Note: do not purl the edge stitch on both sides too loosely. When you reach the stitch marker, simply move it as usual. The third row is now complete. Let's continue with the fourth row. Refer to the chart. Start by knitting 1 KFB stitch. Then work 1 knit stitch. When you get to the marked stitch position, transfer it. Then knit 1 yarn over and 2 knit stitches in sequence. These 2 segments on the right are completely identical. Next, we move to the middle segment. Transfer the stitch marker first. Then do 1 yarn over. Follow with 4 knit stitches. Then work 1 K2 tog. From now on, we'll call this K2 tog. This means inserting your needle into the 2 loops on the left side at the same time, then knit 1 stitch. After that, work 1 yarn over. Here, decrease 1 stitch first, then increase 1 stitch. The stitch count remains the same. Next, knit 5 stitches. Then do 1 yarn over. This completes the middle segment. Transfer the stitch marker. Continue with the left segments. The left segment 3 is completely identical to the left segment 2. Both start with 2 knit stitches. Then do 1 yarn over. Pay attention to transferring the stitch marker. For the left segment 1, start with 1 knit stitch. Then knit 1 KFB stitch. This completes the 4th row. Continue knitting the 5th row on the wrong side. That means just work all purl stitches. Now, I've already completed the 5th row. Continue with the 6th row. First, refer to the chart and complete the right segments. Note: when knitting the 3 segments on the right, after finishing each knit stitches, transfer the stitch marker. Then immediately work the yarn over. After completing that, knit the middle segment. 1 yarn over. 4 knit stitches. One K2 tog. One yarn over. 1 knit stitch. 1 yarn over. Then knit 1 spo. From now on, we'll call it the spo. First, pick up 1 stitch knitwise. Then knit 1 stitch. Next, pass the picked up loop over the last knitted stitch. The spo is now complete. 4 knit stitches. One yarn over. The middle segment is now complete. You can see that. Here we first decrease 1 stitch. Then increase 1 stitch. Here we first increase 1 stitch. Then decrease 1 stitch. So, the total stitch count in this segment remains unchanged. Now continue with the left segments. For the left segments, after completing the yarn over, move the stitch marker. Then continue with knit stitches. Finally, work 1 KFB stitch. The 6th row is now completed. Continue working purl stitches on the wrong side evenly. Finish the 7th row. Now, I have completed the first 7 rows. Let's take a look at the knitting pattern for the section 1. Every time you work on the right side, you need to increase stitches. At the edges, use the method of working 1 KFB stitch to increase. For these 6 positions on both sides, use yarn over to increase. Pay attention. The increases on both sides of the middle segment are included within the middle segment. For the 2 segments in the middle of the right side, start each segment with 1 yarn over. Then start knitting the knit stitches from the stitch space position. For the 2 segments in the middle of the left side, begin each segment with a knit stitch. After finishing the stitch space position, end with 1 yarn over. If you can distinguish the texture later, there will be no need to place a marker for marking. When counting rows, you can finish the right side. Then count any column of stitch spaces. 1 stitch space represents 2 rows. I have 3 stitch spaces here, which means 6 rows, plus the final row worked on the wrong side. That makes a total of 7 rows. Here, I've finished the first 17 rows of the fabric piece. We will call these 3 stitch spaces as a stick pattern. After completing the first pattern, move upwards with an interval of 11 rows. We need to continue and work the second row of patterns. You can start counting from the braid above the spo. Each braid represents an interval of 1 row. There are 11 braids here, meaning there is an interval of 11 rows. One pattern takes up 3 rows. The first and third rows are worked on the right side. The second row is worked on the wrong side. Now, I have completed the second row of patterns. You can notice that the second row of patterns has a total of 8 patterns. There are 2 patterns in the middle segment, and 1 pattern in each of the other segments. Refer to the chart, and work at the corresponding positions. For the 2 patterns in the middle segment, there is an interval of 15 stitches in the first row, and an interval of 12 stitches in the third row. In any subsequent segment, the number of stitches between 2 patterns is identical to what is shown here. Additionally, moving forward, between adjacent rows of patterns, there is always an interval of 15 rows. After finishing the last row of patterns, continue upwards for the corresponding number of rows. Referring to the chart, proceed to finish the section 1. Pay attention to checking the number of stitches. After finishing the section 1, continue with the section 2. In this section, you need to continue increasing stitches at these 8 positions. The pattern for increasing stitches is the same as in the section 1. However, the stitch pattern is different from the section 1. And, while knitting, you need to add beads like these. Please watch me demonstrate below. First, take out the yarn corresponding to the section 2. I will continue to demonstrate with the thick yarn here. Thread the yarn through the sewing needle. Then thread on the beads. Note: since a large number of beads are needed in total, you can thread on a portion of them first. After the beads run out, cut the yarn, then continue threading the beads, and join the yarn to continue knitting. Thread about 1/3 of the total bead count each time, roughly doing it in 3 rounds. I'll just thread a few beads here, focusing on explaining the method. After threading the beads, tie a knot with the new yarn and the original yarn. Pull the knot to the base. Then trim the original yarn after leaving a small tail. I'll continue explaining with this sample swatch. From now on, we will knit using the new yarn. Start with 1 kfb stitch. Then refer to the chart. Knit the first row of the first incomplete pattern. After completing it, begin knitting the complete patterns. First, work 1 k2, tog knit. One yarn over stitch, and 1 knit stitch. After finishing, continue with 1 knit stitch, but add 1 bead this time. Pick up the bead. Ensure the bead is on the right side. Continue to finish knitting this pattern. After completing it, refer to the chart. Continue knitting the remaining patterns of the next segment. Pay attention, skip 1 pattern, add 1 bead. Each time, add it at the 4th stitch of the first row of the pattern. When not adding a bead, just knit the stitch as usual. Here, I have fewer stitches. After completing the right segment 1, move on to the right segment 2. For incomplete patterns at the edge, follow the chart for knitting. You will notice that, here, I knit 2 yarn over stitches in a row. When you encounter this situation of knitting consecutive yarn over stitches later, do it like this, just wrap 1 more time. After completing it, start knitting the complete pattern. The stitch techniques and bead placement are identical to those in the right segment 1. Everyone can refer to the chart for the right segment 1 and finish the rest of the right segment 2. Then finish the right segment 3. The right segment 3 is completely identical to the right segment 2. I skipped the right segment 3 here for simplicity. After completing the 3 segments on the right, continue with the middle segment. From now on, in each segment, you will add beads once every other pattern. Add beads 1 time. First, refer to the chart and knit as usual. Keep knitting until the second to last complete pattern. After running out of beads in the sample, stop adding beads. Just refer to the chart for normal bead placement. After completing the second to last complete pattern in the middle segment, continue with 1 more pattern. Pay attention. For this pattern, add 1 extra decrease stitch. First, refer to the chart and finish the second yarn over as usual. After completing, knit 1 spo. Then continue with 1 spo. One K2 tog. One knit stitch, and 1 yarn over. This completes the last completal pattern of the middle segment, with 1 loop remaining. Continue with 1 knit stitch and 1 yarn over. The middle segment is now complete. Next, start knitting the 3 segments on the left side. Each segment starts with a complete pattern. The left segment 2 and the left segment 3 are identical. The complete pattern part of the left segment 1 is also the same as the left segment 3. Please refer to the chart and finish knitting this row. After completing the first row, continue knitting the second row on the wrong side. On the wrong side, you will be working all purl stitches. When you encounter a bead, ensure that after knitting, the bead stays on the right side. When you encounter 2 consecutive yarn over positions, first knit 1 purl stitch normally. Then release 1 loop and knit 1 more knit stitch. This completes the double yarn over position. Later, when you encounter a double yarn over position on the wrong side, refer to this technique. Start by working 1 purl stitch, then work 1 more knit stitch. Next, continue and finish the second row. After completing the first 2 rows, refer to the chart and finish the remaining rows. Don't forget to add the beads. After using up the beads, trim the yarn. Continue threading the beads. Then join the yarn and continue knitting as usual. The distribution of beads can be adjusted according to your preference. The quantity of beads after adjustment may vary if there are changes. When threading the beads, make adjustments based on the actual situation. After finishing all the rows, don't cut the yarn. This way, the section 2 is now complete. Let's move on to the section 3. In this part, you need to join it with the loops from the section 2. Join while knitting. Please watch as I demonstrate below. I'll continue using the sample swatch for explanation. First, cable cast on 8 stitches. Start with the first stitch. Insert your needle between these 2 loops. Knit 1 stitch. Place the loop onto the right needle. To make it easier to differentiate, separate the starting stitch loops from the existing loops. Continue with the second stitch. Insert your needle between the 2 loops. Knit a stitch. The second stitch is now cast on. Continue casting on the remaining 6 stitches. Once done, start working on the first row. Work the first row on the right side. Refer to the chart. Work 3 knit stitches. Then 1 yarn over, followed by 4 knit stitches. Once completed, take the remaining loop from the starting stitch, and combine it with the loop from the section 2. Bringing them together, work 1 K2 tog stitch. The first row is now complete, and join it once with the section 2. Continue to work the second row. Turn your work. Start with 1 slip stitch. When working on the wrong side, slip the stitch purlwise without working it. Slightly tighten. Then work all stitches in purl. Complete this row. The second row is now done. Continue to work the third row. Start with 1 slip stitch. When working on the right side, slip the stitch knitwise without working it. Slightly tighten. Always slightly tighten when slipping stitches. Then knit 2 stitches. Work 1 yarn over and 5 knit stitches. After completing, take the last loop of the section 3. Combine it with this loop from the section 2. Work a K2 tog. The third row is now complete. For the upcoming fourth row, sixth row, eighth row, and 10th row, the knitting pattern will be identical to the second row. That is, start with one slip stitch purlwise. Then work all remaining stitches as purl stitches. For the upcoming fifth row, the seventh row, ninth row, and 11th row, all start with one slip stitch knitwise. Then refer to the chart for the remaining stitches. At the end, work together with the loop from the section 2. Everyone, refer to the chart and follow the previous demonstration. Continue working until you finish the first 11 rows. After completing the first 11 rows, continue with the 12th row. Start by working one regular slip stitch, then work purl stitches corresponding one by one. Keep going until there are 2 loops left. After completing that, work 1K2 tog purlwise. That means insert your needle into the 2 loops on the left side at the same time, and work 1 purl stitch. The 12th row is now finished. For the upcoming 14th row, as well as the 16th and 18th rows, the knitting method is the same as row 12. That is, start with regular knitting, end with 2K2 tog purlwise. You can refer to the demonstration of row 12. For row 13, row 15, and row 17, the situation is the same as the previous odd-numbered rows. Just follow the chart for normal knitting. Now, I have already completed the first 18 rows. For convenient explanation, we will treat rows 3 to 18 as one sequence. That is, one sequence has 16 rows. What follows is knitting these sequences repeatedly. You can notice that, on the outside of each sequence, there are 8 stitch spaces like these. The bottom stitch space is from row 1. Refer to the previous explanations, and continue knitting. Keep knitting together with all the loops of the second part. After all the loops are merged, normally knit the corresponding row on the wrong side. If it doesn't match the ending situation in the chart, just knit the corresponding number of rows, based on the actual situation. The condition of the swatch here is not for reference. After finishing the wrong side, start to bind off. First, knit 2 stitches. Then pass the first stitch over the second stitch. That's how you bind off one stitch. Continue with one knit stitch. Then bind off another stitch. Repeat this process. Keep binding off stitches. Until there is only one loop left, enlarge the loop, leave a tail and cut the yarn. Pass the yarn tail through the loop and pull it tight. All the yarn tails should be woven in along the fabric's texture, on the wrong side of the work. You can also hide them for a few more stitches if needed. Up to this point, the tutorial for this shawl is complete. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.